Dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for all that you've done, all that you will do. Thank you for getting us to another year. 2022 was awesome. 2022 was cool. There was a lot of trials and tribulations, but I have become stronger because of it. And I know that a lot of people have as well. Lord, thank you for getting us here. And I pray that you guide us, give us strength, give us wisdom, give us encouragement, help us in every area of our lives so that we can make 2023 the best year of our lives. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Please think through me. Please speak through me. And I pray that what the person on the other side of these cameras needs to hear from you comes through me right now. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of A King's Journal. We are here into 2023. Congratulations to you for making it. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy myself. 2022 was 2022 was something for me. I don't know about y'all, but it was something for me indeed. But we here, and I'm glad. Let me not gas this up. I'm glad every day that I wake up, not completely being honest with you, every day that I wake up, and I'm not like one of those people who are like thinking that I'm going to die every day. But when I wake up, I do understand that there's a lot of people that didn't. There's a lot of people that didn't make it. And when I'm able to do the things that I do, even if the day I might be a little heavy on that day, maybe there's a lot of stress or whatever, but I'm thankful that I get the day. I have the opportunity to do something. I have the opportunity to move forward, contribute, to love, to serve, whatever. But I have the opportunity because some people don't. And so I am thankful for a new year, but I'm definitely just thankful for every day. But on this episode of A King's Journal, this is 18. This is just going to be a journal entry. So it's not going to be very long, but this is strictly a journal entry. I know that you've probably heard a whole bunch of motivation about goal setting and all this other stuff, as we get closer to 2020 or as we were getting close to the new year. But that's not what this is about today. I'm not about to do no rah-rah stuff. Today, we about to get real practical. We about to get real laser focused. This is strictly, I'm just telling you my commitments for 2023 and my reasoning behind it. And maybe it's something that you might want to incorporate into your planning for this year. But to start off, I want to talk about the other day. Actually, this was last weekend and the beginning of this week. I was tasked with the job of a handyman. Now, so on Instagram, I know some of you have never or looked at the story or looked at the post and it said I'm not a handyman, because I'm not one of those people. I've never been one of those people who just like, oh, I just love to build stuff. Oh, we need a table. Let me go to Home Depot, find some wood and put together a table. Or, oh, there's a fire, or we need to put together a campfire or whatever. Let me go ahead and build that. Or I just love doing that kind of stuff. That's never been me. That's never been me. And also, like, I don't keep a hammer in my back pocket. I know there are some people who do. Like, literally, my uncle, his truck, he has a roofing company, and he worked, and actually he was on the podcast last week. He's got his roofing company van that he drives everywhere, which is also his like personal vehicle, and he has a ladder on it, and there's all the tools that you could ever need to build anything with him at all times. That's him. He's that kind of guy. Me, not that type of guy. The opposite. But when one of these opportunities do come up, I pride myself on being a quick learner, and I'm able to figure stuff out. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm the person who necessarily I love to build new things, but if it's something that needs to get done, I can definitely get it done. So with building any of this kind of stuff, if you order something from IKEA, they don't give you the end thing, they give you the pieces for it. So there was the instructions. You open up the box, you take all the pieces out, you get the instructions. In the instruction manual, it tells you what goes with what and what order you should put these together in. And so I got the pieces, or I've looked at all the pieces. I looked at the instructions. I laid them all out in places that kind of made sense. Like this is going to join to this later on, so I'll put this next to this so it doesn't get lost. But the thing is about this particular project, I wanted to do it kind of fast. I want to do it kind of fast. I haven't like built anything like it in a very long time. But I'm like, this is going to be easy, piece of cake. Let's just go ahead and knock this thing out. No problem. And so I started to build this thing, and I was just, I was following I thought I was following the instructions, but there's always, and if you've ever built any like cabinet, oh my goodness, you know that it is crucially important that you make sure that everything is positioned correctly and facing the right way. Because if you put, say you got a side piece, which will be like, it'll be labeled G, and then you'll have the other side, which is labeled F, and then on the top of that is going to be I, right? So F and G and I, if you put F in the wrong direction, then you won't be able to put the shelves in step number 5. Step number 1 is to put those two together, F, G, I. But then if you put F the wrong way, then when you get to step 5, you will not be able to do it. And the thing is, in the instructions, it'll like tell you to put these things together, and then it'll have the picture, but then you have to really you have to see. That's why they give you what it's supposed to look like when it's done at the end. And so you look at what it's supposed to look like, and you got to look at a little bit ahead to see the other steps, and then you got to come back to your step and then put everything together the right way to understand how it's supposed to go. Because the pictures aren't always that clear. It's black and white, and it just shows you the pieces and like the little dotted lines on where the nails go. And so in building this, I put almost every piece the wrong way at some point in time. This thing that I thought was going to be 2 seconds, easy, no problem. I was building it together. And I don't know if you're on my Instagram, then go to this post. You'll see that I put the thing together and it looked good, but I couldn't put the next thing together because one of the other pieces that was in like the first step was the wrong way. So you have to take the whole thing down again just to redo a certain part. Oh my goodness. So like I had went through this process. This putting this thing together took about, I think it was 2 days. 2 days, 2 days to put this thing together. And it was very strenuous, but it got done and it looks good. But what it took was first having that understanding that there's an order for all the things, all the pieces that were in it. And me rushing caused me to not see the details in each of the steps. And when I missed the details in each of the steps, I misstepped. So when I got to the next step, I didn't have what I needed. I didn't do correctly what was needed to be done in the first step, in the previous step, to do the next step successfully. And because of that, I had to keep going back. I had to keep going back. I had to keep going back. And so me trying to speed the thing up by, not paying attention to things ended up making the thing take longer. So eventually it got done. And actually, just another pat on my back, because I feel like it. It was a second one to put together, and I took my time, and it actually took 2 hours instead of 2 days. Crazy. But so the reason that I bring up that story is because I don't know about you, but I have a strong and solid history and inclination to be a sprinter. I want to get things done as fast as possible. Like I want to put forth my energy, a lot of my energy right now for a very short amount of time so that I can get something accomplished and then just be done with it. But what I've found out over messing up a whole bunch of times and going back and going back and going back is I've realized that most things, success in life and building anything of any significance, it takes attention to detail and it takes time for that thing to be accomplished. And so like I might, we talk about goal setting because it's the new year. And so I'm also notorious for setting like unrealistic goals because I don't know, because I have to do something and mess up to understand what is realistic. But setting these unrealistic goals and then trying to accomplish, well, they're not unrealistic, but the timeline is probably unrealistic. So I'll set these ginormous goals, but my timeline for accomplishing it will be unrealistic. And I won't know until I start going through things and then messing up. But this year, 2023, I'm about to tell you my commitments for this, so that I can achieve the things that I am set out to achieve. 2023, I think, is going to be an amazing year. And here's my statement. In 2023, God is doing a new thing, and it's immeasurably more than anything that I could ask or imagine. But I must commit to following his directions and being diligent about what he has told me to do to receive all of the blessings that are waiting for me in these next 12 months. I believe that for me, and I believe that for you too. But the thing is about, just like everything that's in the Bible, is there's the blessing, there's the bright side of it, but there's first the direction. And if you don't follow the direction, just like with building the cabinet, if you don't follow the direction and do what's needed and seeing the details of what's needed to be done in that step, then you end up misstepping and then messing up the next step. Because a lot of things, it's funny too, because I was just thinking about it, or I was talking about this the other day. Mike Tyson, he said in an interview one time, it was like a curse from God is giving you everything that you've ever wanted and then seeing what you do with it. And I think it was profound, because it was like when he was saying it was like, okay, he was the best at his time. He was the best. He was feared in the industry. You couldn't mess with him. But he had everything that he wanted at that time. He had everything that he wanted as a boxer. He had accomplished so much, but he wasn't ready to receive what he got. So he blew it away. He threw it away. He didn't know what to do with it. He wasn't ready for it. And that's the misstep. So going straight to it, I said this wasn't going to be a long episode. These are my commitments for 2023. 1, I commit to wise processes that develop each important area of my life. Now, those important areas, faith, I talked about this the other day, faith, family, fitness, finance, and future. So in each area, each one of these areas, there will have to be a wise process. Now, understand, I'm not saying a goal. I'm not saying I'm going to set a goal for each to do something great in each of these areas. I'm setting wise processes so that I can be developing each of these areas of my life. Man, I am over goal setting. I am completely over goal setting. If you haven't already heard this before, but you're going to hear it now. Goal setting, a lot of times, you set a goal and you like try to achieve it in one way or another. But the thing is, focusing on the goal just leaves you kind of, if you don't do it or if you don't get to it, it can leave you kind of stressed, sad, depressed, always looking for that next thing. But we don't work off of those goals. We work off of processes. The process will achieve the goal if the goal actually matches the process. And so if I focus on the process, the each day individual step, the thing that I need to do, the things that I need to do each day to get to a certain point that should produce a certain outcome, then I know that I'm controlling what I can control, because typically the goal is not something that is in my control anyways. For example, if I set a goal to make $1 million in 30 days, right? If I don't have a process to actually do that successfully, then all I'm doing is throwing things at the wall. And if I set that goal, but then my process doesn't match that goal, then I'm not going to achieve that goal, and I'm going to be depressed about it. But what I can do is I can put together, okay, if I sell this many things, or if I make sure that it gets in front of my marketing, gets in front of this many people, then this percentage will have the opportunity to buy. And I will make sure that this fulfillment process is set up so that if these people, this number of people sees this and then opts in, and then this number of those people actually buy, then I will make this much. I can commit to making sure that this process is completely and absolutely perfectly laid out. Then you got to leave it to God. That's where that faith comes in. You're in control of the process in which you do each day, but you are not in control of the outcome. Spoiler alert, unfortunately, you just got to do what you can do today because you only have today. God is in control of what happens later. But I will commit to wise processes to develop each area of my life. Proverbs 21:5 says, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but everyone that is hasty only to want. When I first read this, when I first broke this down, I'm like, oh, okay, sweet. I'm the diligent, obviously, and I'm definitely not hasty because, you know, I stay in stuff every day. Like I'm focused and I stay stuck on or focused on a specific goal or process. So since I do that, I couldn't possibly be hasty. But where I've gone wrong, the parts that are hasty, what I found out was that I was setting like these wild goals, and then I would, pray, and then I would run after or take opportunities or things that I thought were opportunities to speed up the process, but that's then being hasty. And in that, you run into a lot of issues. Like I'm telling you, run into all kinds of different issues. Another thing that I found out this year is like when you go through some stuff, you get a good level of experience in that thing. Then you start to realize over time what is realistic and what is not. I now understand, like when they would say before, like when they would talk about when you hear an older person or an elder talk to a young person, and then they would say, this person would lay out all the things that they're trying to do, and then the older person would be like, I don't know if that's realistic. And then you immediately, as a younger person, are like, what do you mean is realistic? I can do anything that I set my mind to. Sometimes, if that older person is wise, they'll understand that it's going to take more time to actually accomplish that thing that you're going after. So they're not saying that it's impossible, but they're saying it's going to take a lot of work over a long period of time to get there. And maybe you're the person who you set these New Year's resolutions and you're on fire for a month. You're on fire for the first week. You're on fire for maybe the first quarter. But then after that, you drop off. You then have to refigure out what you're going to do about 3-4 times throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, you've only built things up to only about 3 months. So, and consequently to that, you haven't done much of anything. I commit to wise processes that develop each important area of my life. Diligence. Keyword. I commit to giving everything that is under my responsibility my best at all times, and I will not allow myself to take on any new responsibilities if it threatens my ability to do the latter commitment. So that's 2 in 1. I commit to doing everything that is under my responsibilities to the best of my ability at all times, and then not letting nothing stop me from doing that. Pretty much what that says. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might, for there is no work nor device coming from the Hebrew word makashaba, which is thoughts device, and that in English is devised to form in mind new combinations of applications, ideas, and principles, plans, purposes. That's what that is. Nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, where thou goest. So whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Because when you die, and you will die, there isn't any plans, there isn't no knowledge, there's no wisdom that you're going to put together that's going to make anything else happen. That's what that verse says. So everything that I do, if I take on an opportunity, if I take on a job, if I, take on a client, I commit myself to doing my absolute best. And when I'm talking about responsibilities also, I mean, like, if I go get if I go get a new place or whatever, I am committing myself to doing my best in every area. Another issue, I'm just talking about all my issues, y'all. Today, I'm just pouring out problems. Another issue of mine is I used to take on way too many things. You'll just be really busy. Yeah, I'll just take on all kinds of different opportunities, but at the wrong time. Like, I'll just say, oh, yeah, I can do that. Oh, yeah, I can definitely do that. Oh, you know what? I can definitely, you get that done. You said you need it by when? Oh, no problem. No problem at all. And then I'll take on all this stuff. And then after the 6,000 thing, you're like, oh, wait a minute. How am I going to get the 10th thing done? I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that. Y'all probably, all super smart and educated, and you probably don't deal with these kind of things. But me, I might put too much on my plate and I cannot eat it all. So I am making sure that I'm getting really good at saying no. Really good at saying no. Nope, I can't be there. Nope, unfortunately, I can't do that. Nope, I wish, but maybe later. Nope. And only yes to what I know I can give my full and my best to in 2023. And then lastly, I will set realistic expectations for myself that stretch me and leave the extraordinary to God. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but this one is really important because, again, it's really easy for me to set hasty expectations for myself. If you've ever set a goal, right? You say it's a weight goal. I don't know. Now, me, I don't personally. I've never really set like a goal, a weight goal. But if just as an example, some people are like 250 pounds, and they say, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in the next 30 days. That is not a realistic expectation. No. How about this? They say, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out 3 times a day, every day for the rest of the year. And they barely get to the gym one day a month. That is unrealistic. Some of y'all would understand. It's like, oh, well, of course that's unrealistic. But we do it all the time in real life. So set realistic expectations. We're not going from 0 to 100. We're going to go from 0 to maybe 5 to maybe 10. And then, after we've got 5 and 10, maybe we'll shoot to 20, see what we do there. After we get to 20, maybe we'll shoot to 35, maybe 40. And then we'll move up from there. But I'm going to set realistic expectations for myself, a part of those processes that I was talking about. And I'm going to stretch myself. I was having a conversation we were recording an episode of the Today for Tomorrow podcast. And we were talking about processes or what do you do after you achieve your goals. And then we got into a small conversation about that interesting balance between setting a goal that is too small or setting goals that are too big. Because there's like a happy medium, and everything in the middle of that happy medium, that's where you actually grow and actually achieve at the same time. Setting goals that are too small, they don't stretch you, so you pretty much stay in the same spot. You don't develop, you don't grow in any area, you pretty much just stay the same. And also you are working typically way beneath what your potential is. And on the opposite side of that, which I'm more used to, is setting something that is so so great that you could do it, but it has to be in a certain amount of time, and there has to be certain things set up for that thing to be achieved. But if the goal is so ginormous and so big, and you have no experience, no knowledge, no wisdom, no mentor, no guidance, no anything on how to accomplish that thing, but you think you're going to do it in a relatively short amount of time, it's unrealistic. The goals that are, or the expectations for myself that stretch me, that are in that happy medium, are things that I have not done before. And I've got an idea and a plan for how I can achieve it, but it's above what I've done before. And not 50 times above what I've done before, but just enough to know that I have to do some new things and achieve some different results to make sure it happens. That's a realistic expectation. It took 25 years for me to understand what a realistic expectation is. And I hope that for you, you are also, I hope that you've already got it or you're getting it today. I hope it doesn't take you as long. But that's what I found out. And all the other stuff, like I said, the outcome, I leave that in God's hand. So I'm going to do what I need to do every single day to be working towards the thing that I set out to do, the goal that stretches me, but is also a realistic one for me. And then I'm going to have faith that God is going to do exceedingly above anything that I can ask, think, or imagine. All 2023. So, people, ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness, I said this wasn't going to be a long one, but it's 27 minutes. This is crazy. Well, thank you for tuning in to a King's Journal. Remember this statement. Remember this statement. Repeat it to yourself often. Write it down if you need to. In this year, 2023, I believe that God is doing a new thing, and it's immeasurably more than anything that I, and you, say it to yourself, that I could ask or imagine. But I must commit to following his directions and being diligent about what he has for me to do to receive all of the blessings that are waiting for me in these next 12 months. Believe that. Believe that. Believe that. It's not on you. It's on God. But there's some things that you got to do. There's some things you got to commit to. There's some processes that you have to make sure that are in place for you to receive everything. But I believe this is going to be an absolutely amazing year for a lot of people. And I hope one of those people are you. And that's all for today. My name is Martell. This has been a King's Journal, episode number 18. Happy New Year, and I hope to see y'all next week. Peace.